Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like.
Asking price on Austin Reeves. We finally have an answer, plus a little bit of cold water on the idea that they're going to trade him, period. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the LakersNation.com YouTube channel. Going to be a busy summer, so hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. All right, should the Lakers trade Austin Reeves? There's been a lot of conversation about this. Essentially, it comes down to three arguments for why he should be traded. Number one is contractual. He can become a free agent in the summer of 2026, so that makes him inherently a flight risk. He's not expected to pick up his player option that summer. He's also going to be given a $90 million extension this summer, which he is also not expected to sign, which means he could hit free agency and not walk away for nothing. And that is one of the reasons to consider trading Austin Reeves if you're the Lakers. You also look at the playoffs. He did not perform well this year in the playoffs, and that loss in 5 games in round one, it still stings. And there are people who would point at that as evidence that Austin Reeves needs to be moved. On top of that, I think there are real concerns defensively in a backcourt with Luka and Austin Reeves together. I think those are legitimate. The numbers will tell you they actually work out okay together right now, but I do think on paper it's a concern, and it's something the Lakers have to absolutely consider. So all of those three things are reasons why you would consider trading Austin Reeves. But Dan Wojcicki of the LA Times pushes back and gives us some insight into what the Lakers actually think here. Now, first and foremost, he said the most important people in the organization love Austin Reeves. I can confirm that. We know that. They love his journey. They don't want to move on from him unless they feel like they have to. Plus, he's one of the bargain contracts in the NBA at $14 million. No argument there. He absolutely is. Reeves struggles in 5 games in the loss to Minnesota, and the struggles to deal with players that are bigger have thrown question on his long-term viability with the team, and he didn't shoot the ball well. Look, all real concerns there. Yet, according to people with knowledge of the situation, Austin is recovering from a serious toe sprain that will not require surgery. Wojcicki also notes that the big moments have not always brought out the worst in him. He tends to actually step up in big moments. So despite the fact that we had this 5-game sample size in the playoffs where he did not look good, Wojcicki is noting that he had a toe injury. Now, I would counter that injury didn't occur until game 3, and he didn't look good in game 1 or game 2 either. But it's also worth noting that when we saw Austin, his free throw rate absolutely plummet. Well, maybe he wasn't getting to the basket as much because he couldn't push off with this toe injury. So that could certainly be a part of this puzzle as well. But also worth noting that Austin it's not like he's been a career guy who doesn't show up in big moments. In fact, it's historically been the opposite. He's not viewed as untradeable, according to Wojcicki, but if the Lakers are going to trade him for, say, a center, they're going to want one that is foundationally important. So they need a piece that they're going to build around. And that's something that we've heard consistently for years now, that if the Lakers are going to trade Austin Reeves, they want a foundational piece. Now, you can argue that that's the wrong mindset for the Lakers to be in, right? You could argue that turning Austin into, I don't know, maybe 2, maybe 3 role players, in addition, attaches expiring contracts to Austin Reeves and turn him into 2 or 3 role players that fit very well, that fit what the Lakers need. We'd be talking about a big, maybe a defensive guard, that the net for the team may actually be a positive if you do that. But that, according to Wojcicki, that's not the Lakers thinking. If they're going to move on from Austin Reeves, they want a foundational piece. In other words, you're not going to see Austin Reeves traded for Daniel Gafford or someone like that. No, if Austin Reeves is going to be traded for a big, think Jaren Jackson Jr., think Bam Adebayo, maybe Jarrett Allen. How realistic are any of those trades? Probably not super realistic. So again, why Austin Reeves probably doesn't wind up getting moved, because is it likely that those types of players, foundational bigs, are going to be available in a trade for Austin? Well, probably not. And there's a few reasons for that. And Wojcicki does note that if foundational centers in the NBA suddenly became available, okay, then the conversation certainly changes. Now, Wojcicki notes that Reeves' trade value and his actual value are 2 different things. So if the Lakers are saying, oh, no, we need a foundational piece in exchange for getting Austin Reeves, that's going to diminish his market significantly. Look, how many teams would want Austin Reeves at $14 million? All of them. All 30 teams would love to have Austin Reeves at $14 million. Now, how many teams would want to give up a foundational piece in order to have Austin Reeves at $14 million? Well, that is going to diminish the pool just a little bit. How many teams want to give up a foundational piece to pay Austin Reeves $14 million and deal with him hitting free agency in 2026? That's going to diminish the pool as well. How many teams want to deal with that, give up a foundational piece, plus pay Austin what he's going to want in the summer of 2026. And that's where the trade market gets extremely, extremely shallow for Austin Reeves. So the Lakers, one of the reasons why I think the Lakers should seriously look at trading Austin Reeves is because I think you can't deal with the flight risk. I don't think you can deal with that as an NBA team. You don't want to be in a situation where you could lose a foundational player for nothing. You just can't be in that spot. Look, we went through it over a decade ago with Dwight Howard. It is so damaging when you lose a player for nothing. Same thing happened with Alex Caruso. Now, that was the Lakers' own fault, but they are still paying the price today for that. When we look at the Lakers, we go, oh my God, they have 5 players they actually trust in a playoff game. Why are they so thin? Because they have let assets walk away and mismanaged a number of assets. They have largely missed on the singles, one of them being Alex Caruso. You cannot allow talented players, important players to your roster to walk away for no return. And so for me, that's a major driving factor for why you should seriously explore the trade market with Austin Reeves. But the problem is other teams are going to see that too. Other teams are going to say the same thing, especially if they have to give up a foundational piece. Is any team going to want to give up a Jaren Jackson Jr., knowing that then they incur the risk of Austin Reeves walking in free agency? That's where it gets very difficult to find that kind of deal. It is just, again, throw a name out there. Let's say it's a Daniel Gafford level player. Well, you're better off just keeping Austin Reeves and dealing with the risk yourself than trading him for a guy that isn't quite on that same level as Austin is. Now, Reeves is facing an important summer. The people around the league believe the series against Minnesota showed that Reeves needs to be more physical. He needs to be more reliable as a catch and shoot player. But this is key. Luka Doncic, the vibe is that Reeves has a fan in the Lakers' new star. Now, that matters too when we're talking about should the Lakers trade Austin Reeves or not. If Luka believes that a backcourt with himself and Austin Reeves is viable and will work, and you want Luka to sign a contract extension on August 2nd, I think that's a big check mark on the side of keeping Austin Reeves if Luka is a fan and wants to continue playing with Austin. That's not everything, but certainly something worth considering. It's something that's going to be important in the Lakers' decision-making process. Now, let's also add this. Wiki says people who know him believe this round of speculation and the new layer of doubt over whether he can be a primary option on a contender will fuel him to meet the next challenge. Sometimes we look at players and we assume that they are static. They are what they are. Austin Reeves, not strong enough, not good enough defensively, and that is what he will always, always be. And that's not accurate when we look at players in general. Players change. If we think the great example, Brook Lopez, one season, he was not a three-point shooter. The next season, suddenly he was. His game grew, his game expanded. That kind of stuff can happen. Now, does that mean that Austin's suddenly going to become a top-notch defensive player? Probably not. He has an athleticism ceiling that's going to keep him from getting there. But can he get stronger? Can he work on strength? 100%. Can he get better defensively? Yes, absolutely. Players are not static. They can make changes and grow. And so if you're the Lakers and you go ahead and trade him right now, you are also ruling out any kind of natural and organic growth that we're going to see from Austin over the summer. You're not giving that a chance to make a difference. So I think that's worth noting as well, that the Lakers believe, and people who know Austin believe, that he is actually going to use this to fuel him over the offseason, and we will see an even better version of Austin Reeves next summer. Remember, he's not like a 21-year-old where his trajectory is going to be a straight up arrow, but he is still young enough for his game to grow and improve. And that's something the Lakers will have to consider. Wiki says, long story short, Reeves averaged 20.2 points, 4.5 rebounds, 5.8 assists, and the only players to exceed all those numbers are Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, LeBron James, Damian Lillard, Luka Doncic, Cade Cunningham, De'Aaron Fox, and LaMelo Ball. Look, that's the list, and the Lakers know it. Wiki writes, that is a very good group to be in the company of. Now, does that present a full picture? No, just counting stats. Come on, we're beyond that. We know that there's a lot more to basketball than just points, rebounds, and assists. That's why, no one would argue that Austin Reeves is on the same level as Jason Tatum. Heal up, JT, or Giannis, or SGA, or any of those types of players. There's no question that he is not on the level of a De'Aaron Fox, of a LaMelo Ball. He's not on that level. There's a reason why there are stats that go beyond those counting stats. Nonetheless, there are also few players in the NBA that can put up the numbers that Austin put up this last season. And I think it's important that we remember that despite the playoff shortcomings, Austin did have a phenomenal season, and the Lakers are going to look more big picture when evaluating whether or not they should trade Austin Reeves. They're not just going to look at this 5-game sample size of the postseason. They're going to look at the entirety of Austin's time with the Lakers, including trying to get a trajectory on where he's going, not just where he's been. Now, that said, they do need to offer him that contract extension, that $90 million. This all becomes much, much easier if Austin does take that contract extension. Look, $90 million is a lot of money. If I'm the Lakers, I'm certainly offering it, but I think the Lakers will be sweating it out a bit should he decline and then hit free agency in 2026. That will certainly be a concern for them. That's why I think they have to explore the trade market. Not even a question of whether or not they want to. They may love Austin Reeves, but the contract says they have to explore the trade market for him because you cannot allow him to walk in free agency. But again, their asking price, it's very high, and we'll see where this ultimately lands. Lakers Nation, give me your thoughts in the comments down below. What should the Lakers do this summer with Austin Reeves? Give me your take in the comment section. Till next time, everybody, see ya and stay safe.
So the Los Angeles Lakers need to address the center position, whether it's a starting level, backup level. In my opinion, they need to address both. I keep talking, they need 2 centers this upcoming offseason. Probably going to have to trade for one, if not both of them, just because their cap situation is very slim. And the New York Knicks could end up being the answer for the Lakers with Mitchell Robinson. Seen this same kind of trade proposal on several fronts, from Yahoo Sports to Sports Illustrated to numerous other sites, and kind of floating around. So I wanted to talk about it, right? Fun little conversation about the potential of Mitchell Robinson. He is going into a contract year next year. He'll make just a hair under $13 million. So the Knicks are going to have to kind of figure out what they're going to do with him. Are they going to pay him and give him a new contract long-term, or are they going to look to trade him? They were looking to trade him around the trade deadline. He was just, coming back from injury and stuff like that, where now the full offseason, he's been playing. He's also been playing more minutes in the playoffs. They've actually bumped him up, not crazy, but just a full minute to 18 minutes per game, where he's averaging around 17 minutes per game during the regular season. Obviously, there's concerns with his injury history. He is not a guy that has been, model of health, and ideally, he's exactly what you want in the starting role. Talk about a legit 7-foot, 250, 60-pound center that can run and jump out the gym, be a lob threat, block shots, just do everything. His per 36 numbers, and we'll go over that here in a moment, are like insane. Like, the guy is everything this team needs. But realistically, he's probably never going to be more than a backup center, right? Just because he can't stay healthy, he can't stay on the court enough for that. So to me, if I'm the Lakers, something you got to keep in mind. I'd love Mitchell Robinson. If you have a real opportunity to get Mitchell Robinson, I think you get him. But you have to keep in mind, like, the risks that come with landing a guy like Mitchell Robinson into the deal. So let's take a look at this potential trade proposal, and then we'll break it down. And then, of course, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. But the details would be the Los Angeles Lakers receive Mitchell Robinson. The New York Knicks would receive Jared Vanderbilt, 2025 second-round pick. The Lakers have the 55th pick in this upcoming draft. And then a 2026 first-round swap right, so a pick swap. So next year's pick would be a swap, and then the second-round pick of this year, along with Jared Vanderbilt, for Mitchell Robinson. I don't hate it, right? Again, want to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments, but I don't hate it, right? Because, Jared Vanderbilt, I love Jared Vanderbilt. I'd love to keep Jared Vanderbilt, but the center position is so much more of a bigger need. Also, the Lakers want to address the perimeter, right? 3-and-D wings, and you're probably going to have to trade for another center, right? Starting caliber center, even if you go get a Mitchell Robinson. So I don't hate the idea of going and bringing in a guy like that. Suck to lose Jared Vanderbilt, but how much is he going to play, particularly come playoff time? And it's just so much bigger of a need. Both guys have injury concerns. Both guys have been injury prone their entire careers, right? So you're kind of getting the trade-off in that regard. But again, the center position is so much more of a bigger need for the Lakers. And if the Lakers do end up addressing the 3-and-D perimeter, then that's less need for a Jared Vanderbilt. So you're kind of turning in a guy that I love and I'd love to keep for a position of need. Okay, fine. right? I'm fine with that wash there. 2025 second round pick, 55th pick, not a big deal. And then a pick swap, you could argue, not a big deal. I do think that that's fair value. I would try to keep the 2025 second round pick, right? If you told me it was Jared Vanderbilt and a pick swap, right? 2026 pick swap for Mitchell Robinson, perfect, right? Because Mitchell Robinson is going to get yield a return. He's not going to return probably at first, probably get 3-4 seconds for him, or like a pick swap, something like that, right? So if you could do something where it's like, hey, here's a Jared Vanderbilt and a pick swap, we bring in Mitchell Robinson. Your argument is like, hey, he's injury prone, arguably more injury prone than Jared Vanderbilt. And on top of that, he's going into a contract year where Jared Vanderbilt has multiple years on his deal where, you know, Mitchell Robinson could just be like, hey, I don't want to be a Laker, or he could just leave or whatever. So like that would kind of be my argument. And then you save the 2025 pick. And the only reason I want to do that is because I'd like to add another young piece to this roster for the development program, particularly a 3-and-D wing. Right, so you still kind of get somebody. I know it'd be the 55th pick. To me, it's not the end of the world, right? If it's something where the Lakers end up giving up if that is exactly the trade package, Jared Vanderbilt, a pick swap, and the 55th pick in this upcoming draft, I'm okay with that. Like, I wouldn't be like, man, like, what are the Lakers doing? I'd be okay with it, but I'd try to keep that second round pick if you can, just to, again, add another youthful talent that you could bring to the roster that maybe can make a contribution this season, but realistically later on down the road, right? Because you want to kind of stack up young guys. You want to stack up guys that you can develop for that next wave. And if you can get a guy, obviously the 55th pick, you know, you're lucky to get a rotation player, right? Let alone, you know, anybody starting level or anything like that. So, but I would prefer that, if I'm being honest. But let's dive into Mitchell Robinson himself, because, you know, how injury prone is he? How bad is it, right? Well, a couple things. So this past season, he played 17 games. 17. Right? It's not great. The most he has ever played in a season is 72 games, right? And that was the 2021-2022 season. His rookie season, he played 66 games, which is the second most of his career. His career, he's been 66, 61, 31, 72, 59, 31, and 17. That is not great, if we're being honest, right? Like, he's basically giving you at around 50 games a season on average, right? Okay. Right. In a backup, you could probably get away with that. He is a guy that can make a real impact. He's a guy that could do some damage, give you some real size, could start on occasion, start in spots, right? Even the Knicks start him on occasion, start him in spots. This year, he started 3 of the 17 games. If you look at last year with 31 games, he started in 21 of the 31. But you just look at the last 2 years combined. He's played 48 games. Literally, he's played half a season in 2 years. So he's missed a season and a half in total the last 2 years. And then even before that, he played 59 games, right? So again, that would kind of be my argument as to like why. Like, dude, he's a huge risk. And on top of being a huge risk, he's, you know, a free agent, right? He could just leave us after the year and then we're out all this stuff. We're out Jared Vanderbilt and all this stuff. But even then, like I said, I don't think that'd be at the end of the world, because just free up cap space, you can make other moves, right? Like, I'm okay with that regardless, but you can get him for the right deal. But as far as his production goes, right? Again, 17 games played, 17.1 minutes per game, shot 66.1% from the floor. This is a guy that does not stretch the floor at all. He's a guy that solely 2-point range. So gives you nothing from 3-point range, but 2-point range on 3.3 attempts, 66.1%, EFG of 66.1%. He is a career, though, 70% 2-point guy. And playing alongside Luka, that's probably what he's going to be. He's probably going to be 70 to 80% from the floor, because it's just going to be all lobs and dunks and pick and roll action, stuff like that, which he's really good in. Right? He's a guy that is ideal in that just throw it up, he'll go get it, slam it home, get you offensive rebounds, get you putbacks, right? Be the pick and roll, be a hard physical screen setter, roll man, hit the roll hard, so Luka can deliver the basketball. So he'd be great in that regard. But free throw shooting, abysmal free throw shooter. He is a career 52.2%, but last year he did shoot 68.4%, which is not terrible for center purposes, right? But he's averaging 6 rebounds, including 3.1 offensive. He's a career just under 4 offensive rebounds per game. He averaged more offensive rebounds than he did defensive rebounds last year for the Knicks. 3.1 compared to 2.9. So again, 6 total rebounds per game. An assist, a steal, 1.1 blocks, and 5.1 points. Now, keep in mind, this is 17 minutes per game of action. Now, if you go and we look at his per 36, which, again, per 36 doesn't tell you everything, doesn't tell you the whole story, but it kind of gives you an idea, okay, like what would he be like in, starting caliber minutes, starting level minutes? Well, he would be a 11 point, 12 and a half rebound, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2.2 blocks, and 6.5 offensive rebounds per game guy. That's how good he would be, right? Talk about a guy that would be a double-double monster and machine and give you 6.5 offensive rebounds. He is one of the best offensive rebounding centers in all of basketball. He's a guy that can run the floor. He is everything this Lakers team needs, right? Like when you think of like a center on paper that the Lakers need, Mitchell Robinson is immediately one of those centers that come to mind, right? Again, issue is his health. The guy just cannot stay healthy on the basketball court, right? The guy cannot, keep himself together on the basketball court and play more than games. Like if he was playing even 60 games a season, right? Like 60 games in a backup role, right? So he'd basically be missing 22 games a season. Like that'd be fine, right? Give me 60 games in a backup role, right? You have your starters playing most of the games, most of those minutes. You'd have to have a quality starter, in my opinion, right? But like, again, because you can manage them. Give me 60 games a season and be healthy come playoff time. Perfect, right? If you can give me 20 minutes a game and then 20 minutes in the playoffs, perfect. Because again, he's a big, physical, strong center that can match up with all the centers in the Western Conference. He's a guy that can be the lob threat, be the roll man, get you second chance points and opportunities. Like, he is exactly what this Lakers team needs. If you told me you traded Jared Vanderbilt along with a pick swap for him, perfect. And if it doesn't work out, you can't stay healthy, and it's just like this is a mess. One, you probably get him dirt cheap, or two, you can just let him go and free up the $13 million in cap space. So I think it's a win-win either way. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Disagree? Kind of mixed in the middle. Do you like the idea of Mitchell Robinson? What do you think of the trade?
I wish he was a Laker. Magic Johnson shares true feelings about Kevin Durant that purple and gold fans will like. Los Angeles Lakers legend Magic Johnson recently showed love to Kevin Durant and congratulated him for winning the Magic Johnson Award. In the process of praising Durant on X, Johnson also tweeted about how he wished to see the Phoenix Suns star don the purple and gold. Congratulations to the two-time Magic Johnson Award winner Kevin Durant. I'm so excited Kevin Durant won this award because is he always so gracious to the media and fans. I love his game, who he is as a man, and all the great community work that he's doing in the DMV area with the youth. Kevin is an outstanding entrepreneur and a big Commanders fan. I wish he was a Laker. The Magic Johnson Award is handed out to players who not only excel on the court, but also graciously carry themselves with media and fans. Durant's work off the court with the community certainly caught the eye of the Lakers legend. However, the idea that Johnson presented of seeing Durant step on the court while wearing the Lakers' purple and gold is truly an interesting one for the fans. The Phoenix Suns forward has been one of the most interesting players to follow over the last few years. Having skipped across the league in an attempt to be a part of a contending side, the forward is expected to be on the lookout for another place to call home in the summer. Among the trade rumors linking Durant with different teams, the Houston Rockets are the team that has presented the most viable package to acquire. But it wouldn't be out of the question for the Lakers to make Johnson's wish come true. The notion of the Los Angeles Lakers landing Kevin Durant seems borderline ridiculous at first glance. Given the current state of the team's salary cap since acquiring Luka Doncic, it is clear that the team is in need of offloading salaries rather than taking on a bigger one. However, a team featuring LeBron James, Doncic, and Durant as the big three is certainly a fantasy for some fans. In light of this, we aim to formulate a trade package that could bring the Suns forward over to the sunny beaches of Los Angeles. While such a trade could work on paper, the Lakers would face devastating consequences throughout their season. With effectively no backup power forwards, playmakers, or wing defenders. The purple and gold would be spiraling to the bottom of the West. Additionally, considering the shortage of draft capital the Lakers have, giving up more would simply force the team to rely on expiring contracts and free agents to build their roster for future campaigns. Meanwhile, the Suns would benefit from acquiring a blend of young and veteran talent. This trade would effectively reset the Suns' rebuild and turn them into a competitive side again. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation of Kevin Durant? Leave your opinion in the comments.